Hello, this is Codod. Welcome back. So it's time to deal with user authentication, but before doing that, we have to solve a problem. Let's see if we include in our login.php, if we include init.php, and in our init.php we say require once functions. Let's see, functions.php. Then if we refresh the page, we have these errors. So optional parameter data declared before required parameter confirm field. If we go to functions.php to the validation functions, you can see that we have this parameter declared with a default value, and the next parameter is required. Well, this is not quite right. This can have a default value if the next parameter has no default value, which means is required by default. So we have to remove this default value for our data parameter, and now you can see that all is working just fine. Okay, so this is login.php. Back to register.php. We can now remove this from here. We can also remove this session start, and to let's see, in our file init.php we can say, let's see, session start. Save, refresh, let's see, sign up, refresh. Perfect. Okay, now it's time to deal with the user authentication. So close init.php, register.php. Now we only want to load a view when we have a get request. So if server, let's see, request a method, this is get. If this is get, then load the view. Okay, refresh. Perfect. But when we have a post request, of course we have to deal with that login form. So if server request method, if this is post, it's time to deal with that login form. So back in our directory views, we have login.view.php. This is our form. We can say method post, and we can remove this action because it's this is going to be sent to the same page, login.php. Okay, the first thing that we have to do is to do some validation. So we have validation, we have form validation, if I am right, validation. Okay, we have the post data. Okay, let's see. So we have a validate form. This is the name. Okay, validate form, and then we have to define the rules. So email, this is required. We can leave it like this, and well, we can say email just to be sure, and the password is required. Okay, now if this is not if this is false, it means we have errors. Then we can say redirect back to login. Okay, now in our login.view.php we have access to those validation errors. So basically we have to copy this from here and let's see, put it here. Okay, save, refresh. It seems that we have an error. So undefined key request method, of course, request method, refresh. If you click sign in, the field email is required. Okay, basically, well, we could say the email field is required, but you can change that if you want. So it's all working. But now you see that we have these two pieces of code of PHP and HTML in two places, and this is not a good idea. We want to organize our layout as best as we can so that we avoid repeating code. What we can do, we can create a new folder in our views directory. Call this folder partials, because we are talking about partial things from our layout. And we can say right here, let's see, underline rlet.view.php. Okay, now in our register.view.php we can copy this two from here and we can put it here. Let's see, I think like this, and we can say PHP require once. Let's see, partials. Then we have underline alert.view.php. This is for the register. Okay, and we need to do exactly the same for login.view.php. Save, refresh, click sign in. Perfect. So let's verify the register page. Perfect. Back to login. Okay, now that we are done with this, we can close register.view.php. Make sure everything is alright. Okay, so this is validation. We can say form validation. Now it's time to write the SQL. So we have, let's see, SQL. But before doing that, let's see what we need. We need the email and the password. So email, we have to say MySQL real escape string to avoid SQL injection. So we have the connection link, and then we have post email. So basically we have to do the same for the password. So let's see, password. Well, I don't think we have to do it for the password, right? No, just the email. Okay, now we can write the SQL. So let's see, prevent SQL injection SQL. Okay, so select we want only the ID from users where email is equal with this email address. Okay, result MySQL query, we need a link and our SQL. If this is not if this is false, we have to show some kind of error message. So going back to register.view.php, we can copy this, let's see, from here. Let's see, okay, so close this, put it here, and instead we have to write login. Okay, so redirect to login. Okay, now we can say, we can use that MySQL affected row. So if MySQL affected rows, let's see what we need. I think we need a connection. If this is let's see, 0, it means there was no record found. So once again we copy this from here, we paste it right here, and we say invalid credentials. Invalid credentials. Perfect. Now we need to have access to, well, right here we also need a password, so ID and password to verify if the password is correct. Okay, so right now we need to have access to that ID and that password, and we can say row MySQL let's see, fetch assoc for an associative array. Okay, and I think we need a result, so we have the result right here, and I think this is all we need. Now we can do a var dump right here, row. Okay, just to inspect the content of this variable. Okay, we can say, let's see, test around test.com, and I think the password is password. Click sign in. Perfect, so we have the ID and we have the password. Okay, let's see. Now what we have to do, well, we have to verify the password, so we have another useful function, password verify. So let's see, we need the current password, so post password, and the hash, we have row password. So if this is not true, so basically if this is not true, it means the password is not correct. So once again we say invalid credentials. Okay, uh, uh, click enter to reload the page. You can basically, well, click on refresh because it's going to send another post request. You have to click right here and press enter. Okay, let's see once again. Let's see test one. Well, no. Let's see test aarontest.com and then some random password. Sign in. Perfect. Invalid credentials. Okay. If everything is alright and the details are correct, now we can save in the session the ID. Why we do this? Because this is how we check if the user is logged in or not. We keep its ID in the session, and then if we want to block access to a certain page, basically we check for that ID from the session to see if it is there. But this is something that we are going to do in the next video. So what we have to say, session, let's see, session set, I think ID, we can say user ID, basically user ID, and then row and ID, and now we say redirect, and let's see, we want to redirect back to home. Okay, refresh. So test aarontest.com and password, click sign in. Of course we do not have home. Let's see, I think we have index, but right now we are of course we are logged in. Once again, test aarontest.com and password, sign in. Perfect. So in the next video, I think we are going to write the code for the dealing with the user ID, so that we do not want to show this to right here, sign in, sign up, and we want to block access to these two pages if the user is already logged in. And we want to change, I think, the content of the home page because right now the user is logged in, and much more. See you in the next one.